you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Living the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here, coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and I'm here with our beautiful co-host, Jamie Martinez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Well, I should be saying beautiful sunny San Diego, but dang, this May, gray, June gloom weather is killing us.
It's a real thing. Someone told me last night, actually, that her client did this project, and they said that San Diego, out of all the cities across the U.S., had the most overcast days in the month of May.
So annoying. I know everyone listening to this that doesn't live in San Diego doesn't care, but this is not what we pay for. The Torrey Pines Beach has been crazy, though. We've been doing little walks on Torrey Pines Beach, and it's our favorite spot in the world. We've been seeing some crazy wildlife. We saw a log that had these clams attached to it that looked like there were little snake-like things coming out of it.
Yeah, little worms. We saw crabs, lobsters.
All these sea anemone things that are just bright blue when they come up onto the beach, and we even saw a dolphin that got attacked by a shark.
Yeah, that was sad.
Right next to where I swim, which was a little scary, but you know, it is what it is. Memorial Day, we were on the beach and we were expecting a ton of people, and really there was no one there with us.
No, and probably due to that weather.
Yeah, I think it was the weather, or they were over there at Mission Beach and PB going crazy. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing rocking. Let's go with our struggle of the week and our win of the week. What do you got?
Yeah, so I'll go first. My win this last week. So as you know, I'm a health coach and I have about 15 clients right now, and I just did transition everyone over from just like a Google tracker into a real app that everything can live in there, just make the whole process a little bit easier, hopefully a better experience for everyone. So I'm just super excited about that. I just feel like I was upgrading and enhancing the experience for all of my clients.
Nice. Awesome. I love that. Yeah. And that's a hard transition when everyone's gotten used to what you're doing and all that stuff. So I know that's a lot of work, and it takes a learning curve. So just kind of sticking with it is important. Be able to kind of get everyone on the same page and figure out how the app works and all that stuff. So that's a good win.
Yeah. I'd say my struggle is actually water. I've been really slacking in it lately. So I just know I need to get my big water bottle. I need to fill it up at the beginning of the day, have it ready. So that's my new goal for this next week. Just really dial that in because I am not drinking enough at all.
Yeah, that's an easy fix though.
Yes.
It's funny that the things that we talk about with our members, like the easy things, sometimes we slip on that too. It's like it's so easy to go on the back burner when life gets crazy. So nice. That's easy to work on. Let us know how that goes. I'll go with my struggle and my win. My win this last week was I've been trying to get my calorie amount up. I've been scanning myself. My body fat percentage and my muscle mass has just been really stagnant over the last few years, and I haven't done a concerted effort for a long period of time getting my calories up. I have a hard time getting enough calories, which I know when I tell people, they get super... they don't really care about it because they have the opposite issue. So they're like, oh, poor you. But still, it's a battle. And this last week, I've been getting over 4,500 calories every single day. And protein's never been my struggle. I've always gotten my body weight in grams of protein, but just that calorie amount. So I just want to keep this rolling for a couple of weeks and really see if it can start to move the needle, just because I've been stagnant for a while. Not that it's detrimental to my health. I need to get some muscle mass on. That's my goal. My struggle this week, man, I had an interaction with some of our members and it's been eating me alive. I called a couple members out who have had a little bit of an issue of talking in class, and every couple of weeks we get these reviews from our members asking us to kind of control the talking. So I'm like, how am I supposed to do this? And I tried for the last couple of weeks to like do little tiny things to hint that, you know, hey, let's stop talking during the demonstrations. No one can hear you. People are asking us to stop. And it just didn't come across that way. And I really did it the wrong way. I feel like I kind of maybe even burned a bridge. So I had to publicly apologize. I made sure that I contacted each of them individually. I haven't had that situation, I don't think, ever. So like that is something that I've just been struggling, and it's like been on my mind for the past week. it's crazy. I'll get dozens of people telling me how amazing we're doing and how much we're helping them, and then it's just like one interaction that really just eats at you. So if any of you guys are going through something like that where just the one negative thing is weighing you down, you just got to have to get over it. You have to really embrace, we all make mistakes. We all do things that maybe we would take back, and if we could go back and do it again and just learn from it. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And I feel like it's resolved and it's going to, uh, it'll all clear up. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I love that because I feel like that's what we do with everything, right? We could have a million positive things being thrown at us, but one negative thing, and that's what we think about the most. That's what we dwell on, and just I think it's like a silly quote or something. What if it's not going to affect you in 5 years, don't spend 5 minutes worrying about it today. And I know it's easier said than done, but
Yep, you live and you learn. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go into our questions for today. We have 3 questions, one on lifestyle, one on exercise, and one on nutrition. Let's go with our first question.
all right. So question number 1. Hey team, I am a 45-year-old woman who is going through the beginning stages of menopause. I am constantly trying to get on track with my health and fitness, specifically stress management and fat loss. The problem is, I don't have support from my husband and my 2 kids, which makes it difficult. We are constantly entertaining, and at least twice per week, we have people over. And there is never a shortage of good food and alcoholic beverages. What are some things I can do to start getting back on track?
Yeah, and I really liked this one. So I wrote down some stuff that I would do if this was my client, and I wrote down 5 top strategies that I would work with them first. And I want to attack this in a couple of different ways. First off, if you're just someone that has struggles getting support from home and you're always entertaining and you have that active lifestyle when it comes to your social life, like let's attack that. And then let's go into the menopause part, which I know is a completely different beast and I'm not an expert on it, but I do have some suggestions for that. But the first thing I would do is someone that is looking for stress management, wants to get their fat loss goals, but has no support and is, always entertaining. The first thing I would do is I would establish an open communication and set boundaries with your family. So I would encourage this person to have an open and honest conversation with her husband or her 2 kids just about her health goals and the importance of their support. And together they could discuss different ways to balance out those family gatherings while also prioritizing her well-being. They could set boundaries around the frequency and around the nature of the social events that could help create space for healthier habits. And if these family members really care about her, like they will definitely make some sacrifices or at least stop peer pressuring as much as they do. I know a lot of friends that have this situation and they need to have something in their hand when they're drinking at the parties or whatever, and they find these really good non-alcoholic beers. And down here in San Diego, we have so many different breweries that have that type of thing that you can kind of access. And I know it probably isn't quite the same, but if you have health goals, you have to weigh and you have to have these trade-offs. The second thing that I would do is I would have her plan and prepare nutritious meals. So I would work with her to develop a meal plan that included balancing her meals, encouraging her to involve her family in the meal planning and preparation so they feel a part of it, helping them understand the importance of healthy eating. And healthy eating doesn't have to be gross. It doesn't have to be all vegetables and this and that. It could be something really, enjoyable and something that they could do together. And I know that you have found this for yourself, Jamie, that you're someone that likes to make these meals and you can make them fun and healthy. So there are options for that. They could explore healthier alternatives and lighter options for the parties that they have. So these get-togethers, they can have good food, but also healthy that supports her goals. The third thing that I would do is I would incorporate stress management techniques, right? If she is struggling with stress management, I would teach her some techniques that would help her with these, such as mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing exercises, journaling. I would encourage her to dedicate a few minutes every day to practice these techniques to reduce those stress levels. And additionally, we could explore activities that she enjoys that help her prioritize her self-care, such as taking walks, engaging in hobbies, or seeking support through therapy or counseling if needed. So finding a professional that she can talk to and lean on, and someone that she can, verbally communicate her struggles with that has this non-biased view of what she's going through. And the fourth thing I would do is I would create a realistic exercise routine for her. I would develop an exercise plan that tailored her needs and her schedule and put it together. We could identify suitable time slots for her physical activity, considering all these family commitments that she has. And then we can encourage her to engage in activities that she really enjoys and can easily incorporate into her daily routine. Again, we could do brisk walks, we could get her into yoga, even things that are like fun, like dance workouts or Zumba. All these things she could do. She could also encourage her family to participate in these activities, and that could foster a more supportive environment if they start to grab onto that. The fifth and final thing that I would do with her when it comes to the strategy, it would be to find and foster a support network. So if she can't find it at home, I would have her try to go seek it elsewhere. She could join a local fitness or wellness group, online or in person. She could find an accountability buddy, so one person that has similar goals with her that is on that similar path. She could do anything when it comes to having like a group online, or even like this is where group fitness does a really good job, joining a group fitness gym. Now, I would also want to start off with 5 simple and easy habits that she could implement into her daily routine. Number one would be to hydrate adequately. If you can drink water and hydrate adequately, man, this helps so much just feeling better, and it helps with cravings. It helps support her weight loss efforts. So, just kind of something easy that we could throw into her to get her some wins. Maybe taking that daily inner bath in the morning right when she wakes up to get a nice 12 ounces of water in. Then I would have her practice portion control. So maybe see if she can start measuring her portions or using smaller plates, or just being mindful of her hunger and fullness cues, and maybe keeping a food mood journal just so that she can have more awareness around her food consumption. Another thing is I would schedule in regular movement breaks with her. So getting her to stand up from her work every hour to do a short walk, not only to clear her mind, but also to reduce her stress and maybe to get her some outside time. And then, most importantly, I would get her to prioritize quality sleep. If we can get this sleep pillar dialed down, it's going to help so much with all the other stuff she's trying to manage in her life, and just you will be more successful when you get better quality sleep or quantity. It's just how it goes when it comes to those health and fitness goals. And then lastly, I would have her practice some sort of gratitude or positive affirmation practice into her life. So maybe doing a daily meditation or journaling some gratitude items, or just taking some time for quiet reflection every day. This is going to help her with her stress management goals. It's going to help her understand that like this time in her life is something that's just another phase of her life that she's going to navigate. So moving into that kind of aspect of her goals when it comes to her menopause, I'm definitely not a expert in this. I've done a little bit of research on it because a lot of my clients have had this issue, and it's something that we encounter throughout health and fitness goals. One person that I do follow on that is Dr. Jade Tita. And Dr. Jade Tita, he's a hormone expert. He's been doing this for a long time. I have mixed signals when I refer him out to clients. So I am really open for other people. If you have any experts that you follow that you would like us to share with the Living the Dream team, let us know. Jamie, do you have someone, looks like you know someone that is an expert in this?
Yeah, it's actually a new follow for me, and she is amazing. On Instagram, her handle is Health with Holland, HOLLAND. She's a really great resource, constantly posting stuff, so definitely check it out. And hopefully, I'll be able to bust through my hormone specialist program as well. So maybe someday I can be a good resource too.
Nice. Yeah. And specifically for a woman experiencing hormone and body composition changes due to menopause, it's really important to let them understand that this is a part of life. If they're in the beginning stages of menopause, they're going to maybe feel these nagging aches and pains, and that comes with frustration, with the hormonal and body composition changes, frustration there as well. So here are some adjustments that I've heard work really well and that I've experienced with others that work really well. And number one is just to incorporate strength training. So incorporate strength training, not just exercise, but this can be super beneficial because it's going to help maintain muscle mass, which can decline big time during menopause. Strength training also supports bone health, which reducing the risk of osteoporosis and improving overall body composition is so important in this situation as well. And encourage her to start with lighter weights and then gradually increase to where she can get that intensity up to overload the muscle. And maybe that requires some guidance from a professional, but that's going to be that is going to be a super helpful thing for her. Next, I would have her seek professional guidance. Seek professional guidance. And Due to the nagging aches and pains, it would be wise for the client to consult with a healthcare professional or a physical therapist. I mean, they can assess her condition. They can provide specific exercises to her, stretches that address her needs, and offer personalized advice to manage discomfort effectively. She may even be able to leverage HRT, hormone replacement therapy, if the professional thinks it would be beneficial. Number 3, I would embrace self-compassion. Menopause and all the changes that can be challenging when it comes to menopause, both physically and emotionally, man, encouraging her to just practice self-compassion and self-care. These changes are natural and a part of the new chapter of her life. So supporting her in that, exploring mindfulness practices, journaling, seeking therapy, all those things are going to be important. I would also have her focus on nourishing foods. When you eat better, you feel better. As her body goes these hormonal changes, we could emphasize the importance of having these foods that support her hormones, encouraging her to include foods like phytoestrogens such as soy, flaxseed, and legumes, omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish, chia seeds, walnuts, and then just a variety of fruits and vegetables, because proper nutrition can help alleviate symptoms and support her body during this transition. And then I would have her adapt her exercise routine, right? You're going to have different exercise routines in this situation. Anything that has her aches or pains, we got to modify that. So opt for low impact activities such as swimming, cycling, yoga, low impact resistance training. Encourage her to listen to her body and adjust the intensity and duration of the workouts accordingly. And this could be from week to week different. So just knowing that it's going to be an adjusting thing as you go, because this is new to everyone. And those are going to be really important for someone going through menopause, just to understand this is a different phase of your life. So we're going to have to attack this differently. So that's kind of all I have for this individual question for now. If anyone has anything that they'd like to add to that, if you've had anything that's been successful for you, I would love to hear it. Anything else you want to add on that before we go to the next question?
No, I think you nailed it.
Cool. Let's move on. Question number 2.
All right. So question number 2. I never know what weights to grab in the workout session. If I go too heavy, it seems like my form is off. What's more important, the weight you use or having perfect form?
I love this question. I could riff on this forever. So, form is the foundation, right? You have to get your form down. You have to learn the movement as a skill and get to a certain level of proficiency before you can start to really overload that weight and start to increase the power or the speed of the rep. And that's super important. But I think a lot of people take it a little too far. So, once you get your form down to a certain proficiency where you feel comfortable doing the movement, and you'll know when this happens, it'll take a while, and sometimes it does take a professional like a personal trainer or a group fitness instructor being able to show you how it should feel, what it looks like, and tweaking you just little tiny changes when it comes to like verbal cueing and physical cueing and all that stuff. But once you get the baseline down, in order to change the muscle, you have to challenge the muscle. And I think a lot of people that we coach in the group fitness space, they get stuck here. They find the weights that they're comfortable with, and they just keep repping out the same amount of weights on the same exercise day after day, month after month, year after year. And yeah, you'll get some results early, but you will very quickly start to see plateaus. In order to change the muscle, you have to challenge. And there's different ways that you can challenge without just increasing the weight. So yes, increasing the weight is important. And the way I like to tell people here, how do you know if you chose the right weight selection? When you are at the end of your set, let's say you have 10 reps of a bicep curl, and you're getting to rep number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These last couple reps, you should not be able to have perfect form without any sort of resistance to that movement. So if you aren't struggling on those last couple reps, what I like to say is if you're trying to move that weight any faster and it just will not move any faster, this is when you know you've hit that nice sweet spot. You don't have to go to failure. You definitely don't have to hit rep number 10 and you can't complete rep number 10. Sometimes you do want to go to that level, which is great. It's not necessary all the time though. I would say if you're going for strength, you want to keep your reps anywhere between 8 to 12, and you want to make sure that that last couple reps, you're trying to move the weight faster and it will not. Now, let's say you're a little apprehensive about adding weight. Maybe you're in between two weight selections at your gym and they don't have that right sweet spot for you to add 2.5 pounds here or 2.5 pounds there. Well, there's other ways that you can manage this challenge in order to change the muscle. You can increase the time under tension, or mechanical tension as it's called. And you can do this by increasing your reps. You could slow down your tempo. So you can make a 10-pound weight feel like 20 pounds if you control the phase of lifting and you can control the phase of lowering. You can play with the volume. So you could add another set to this exercise in order to get another little bit of volume into that exercise. So instead of doing 3 sets of 10 reps, maybe you add a 4th set of 10 reps and you don't have to go up in weight, but now you've increased that time under tension, that mechanical tension that muscle is going through. You want to maximize your invested time though. So if you're someone that's going into a group fitness program, or you only have a certain amount of time when you go into the gym, adding all these sets is not going to help you because this is going to add time onto your workout. And in a group fitness setting, you're kind of locked into whatever time period they say you have for these certain amount of exercises. So really, weight is going to be the best way to progress. And one of my favorite strategies is to do what's called a drop set. So if you are apprehensive about going up in weight, maybe you go up in weight and you do just a few reps of that heavier weight. Maybe you start to do it until you feel a little bit uncomfortable that your form is suffering, drop the heavier weights, and then complete the rest of the set with the lighter weights. So start heavy, do a couple of reps to where you do overload that muscle and you challenge that muscle and you send the signal that it needs to be stronger, and then you drop the weight and you do your normal weight and you finish out the set. That's a great strategy. And eventually, your heavier weight, you're going to be able to do more reps of. Your lighter weight, you won't have to do as many finishing reps of. And then eventually, that heavier weight is just going to become the weight that you use. So yes, safety is important. And yes, if you go heavier, there's a slightly bigger risk for injury or for whatever the case may be. But you want to make sure that you're not just using the same weight every single time, because eventually your body's going to adapt to that strength level, and then you're essentially just moving your body and you're doing work. You're just more doing cardio with weights. You're not creating a stimulus for that muscle to change. And if there's no stimulus, then that muscle is not going to grow. And that's the whole entire point of having resistance training as your exercise. And ladies, if you're worried about growing, the word growing doesn't necessarily mean you're going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or a professional bodybuilder. You will not. I can almost guarantee you that. I have a lot of people that I train that are worried about that. And I'm like, you know what? If that does become the case, if you ever feel like you're getting too bulky, guess what? We can just stop and we can adjust. Like, you're not going to just blow up overnight and then it's going to be permanent. And I just kind of want to stress that. We've done episodes on why it's important to strength train, and bulking should not be a concern for too many people, except for those blessed few, which I'm very jealous of because I would like to be one of them. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of enough on that one, I think. Do you have anything to add on that, Jamie?
No, full support on all.
Love it. Okay, let's move on to the third and final question.
All right. So question number 3, can you eat eggs every day?
I love this one. It's so nutrition and the field of nutrition, it frustrates me more than anything in this world. The things that I learned in college 15 years ago or however long it was, a lot of this stuff just was proven to be actually not just slightly wrong, but like completely opposite and wrong. So it's been so frustrating. My number one suggestion for all people when it comes to nutrition is to do what works for you. And in order for you to know what works for you, you must first track. You must first find awareness and track and figure out what is what, and then make little changes and just figure it out over time, because every single person is different when it comes to their genetics, when it comes to their past, when it comes to their tolerances. And it's just so funny that, like, I've had people say, oh, I only eat egg whites and I want to make sure that my cholesterol's low. And then all these experts come out 10 years later saying that cholesterol should not be the concern when it comes to eating eggs. So I'll kind of let you go in on the nutrition of the eggs. I know this is kind of your sweet spot, and then I'll kind of chime in with what I think. What do you think? Can you eat eggs every single day?
Love this. Yes. So I love eggs, number one. And right with everything, do what works for you, do what feels good. It's all going to be your biofeedback if your body is going to accept it or not. But it's crazy. 2016 is actually when the US government dropped its warning and all the concerns on eggs and cholesterol. 2016, and we're still talking about it today, 2023. People are still worried about it. That's insane. Um, Love eggs for multiple reasons. They are healthy, they're relatively cheap, they are super versatile. I think too much of anything, right, can be bad, but it has been said that at a minimum or at least one egg a day for most humans is actually totally fine. They provide so many health benefits for us. They are a complete protein. The yolk of an egg, they are a food source that contains each of the 9 amino acids that our human bodies need and are necessary. And if you don't know what amino acids are, simple, basically, they are building blocks for protein. And that's just in the yolk. So just don't throw those away. If you're just super concerned about the cholesterol, again, the US government dropped that warning back in 2016. Another path, this would be another episode, but bad cholesterol, high cholesterol is actually really correlated and related to sugar and fried foods. Fun fact there. But back to eggs. So one whole egg actually contains 6 grams of protein, and one egg white, so minus the yolk, gives you 4 grams of protein as well. So they are actually pretty high in protein, but the egg white itself actually does not contain all of those really good nutrients that our body needs.
Yeah, and what I like to tell people is if you're concerned about the cholesterol, don't be concerned about the cholesterol when it comes to the eggs. Keep the egg yolks. But if you are concerned about the overall calorie amount, like I know a lot of people that are having a hard time staying under their calorie amount, but they still want the protein from the egg, that's when you would do a couple of regular eggs and then throw in those egg whites on top of it. So you are getting the protein, but then you're lowering the calorie amount. One of our favorite experts on nutrition, he talks about eggs being nature's multivitamin. It like has everything in it that supports good brain health. It's got the protein, the fats. It's easy. Eggs are versatile. You can cook them in so many different ways. So just don't be scared of eggs, and don't be scared of cholesterol. If you are, someone that I really recommend is Dr. Peter Attia. He just came out with a book, Outlive. And in this book, he talks about cholesterol being demonized, but cholesterol is just the carriers of the fat lipids. And it's the size of the cholesterol that really makes the cholesterol detrimental to your health or not. These smaller particles, the VLDL, the LDL, these are smaller carriers. So they get stuck in the vessel walls, which then creates a backup and a buildup that could lead to cardiovascular disease. That's what we're concerned about. These HDL cholesterol carriers that carry these fat lipids, they're bigger, they're bouncier, and they kind of bounce around like a beach volleyball throughout your bloodstream and don't get stuck as easily. So it's not the cholesterol in the foods that you should be worried about. It's the cholesterol in your system. And a lot of times the cholesterol in the food that you eat, he says, it just gets excreted out through your feces. You just poop it out. So if you're interested in diving a little deeper in cholesterol, if that's the one thing holding you back from eggs, I highly recommend checking out Dr. Peter Attia's work, Attia, and his book Outlive has a ton of other great stuff on longevity and health. So eggs gets our double thumbs up.
100%.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to the recommendation for the week. We recommend Max Lugavere. Max Lugavere, Lugavere. He's amazing. He had his story come up with his mom. His mom had, I think, 2 types of cognitive decline, and it just really traumatized him. And she lost her battle and passed away a few years ago. And he dedicated his life to helping educate people on the health benefits of healthy, nutritious foods. One of his things that he says is, I'm science-based, but I'm not science-bound. So he'll come up with all these studies and he'll say like, yes, this is good to look at, but it's also, you don't want to be bound to one scientific study, because scientific studies they're limited. They're limited in the way that the study was produced. They're limited in the tools that we use to measure. They're limited into human error. Like there's a bunch of things that studies are great for, but we shouldn't be bound to these. So I really like his approach. He has a podcast called Genius Life. the Genius Life podcast. Highly recommend checking it out. He has great people on there that he interviews. He also wrote a book a while ago called the Genius Foods, and that was a really enlightening book. And you even bought, Jamie, his cookbook, The Genius Kitchen.
Yes, it sits on our kitchen counter every day. I've made multiple recipes out of it, and it's fantastic. And the way that he starts that book as well is kind of telling you the differences between olive oil, butter. Like, he'll show you and let you know the better options of different things, the everyday items that we use in the kitchen, just right off the bat, just to continue to help educate in a good way as well.
Yeah, so check out Max Lugavere, and his Instagram is at Max Lugavere. His podcast is The Genius Life, the book, The Genius Foods, and cookbook, Genius Kitchen. Highly recommend Max Lugavere. And we're going to finish up this episode with a quote that we really liked. It's going to be a pretty standard quote, but it really was something that was very relevant into what we're going through right now. And that is, when you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond. That's where your power is. When you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond. That's where your power is. And this is just something that we really want to embrace this week. And if there's something going on in your life, we want to definitely send this message your way, and just know that we are able to control how we respond in any situation. And that's where your power lies. So I think we'll leave it at that. So thank you so much for listening in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
All right, Dream Team, that's it for today. Please share with me any knowledge, thoughts, or questions you may have on today's topic. I'll make sure to answer and discuss on the next episode. You can ask your questions in the comments section or message me on any of the social media platforms. Also, I would be so thankful if you shared this episode with any of your friends or family that may be able to benefit from today's podcast. I would love it if you could do me a solid and screenshot this podcast and share it on your social media platforms, and just write one takeaway, one aha moment that you got from this episode. This will help me know what's really valuable to you, and so I can keep the good information coming. And it also lets your network know if this podcast is worth a listen to them. Thank you so much for listening and learning here with us on the Living the Dream podcast. We are so grateful for you being a part of this lifelong learning journey. If you have any topics you'd like to discuss, please let us know in the comments or by messaging me on Instagram at CoachDamien_SD. Be kind to someone today, smile at someone today, and leave every person you come into contact with better than before. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.